The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is a book that explores the principles of power and how to attain and maintain it. The book is split into 48 laws, each one explaining a different principle of power, and is filled with examples from history to illustrate how each law has been applied throughout time. The first law is to never outshine the master. This means that you should never appear more talented, knowledgeable, or successful than your boss or mentor. Always make them look good, and they will reward you with more opportunities for advancement. The second law is to never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use your enemies. This law suggests that you should never fully trust your friends because they may turn on you. Instead, use your enemies to gain power and leverage. The third law is to conceal your intentions. This means that you should always keep your goals and plans to yourself. By doing this, you can maintain an element of surprise and avoid giving your competitors an advantage. The fourth law is to always say less than necessary. This law suggests that you should be careful with your words and avoid giving away too much information. Instead, listen more than you speak and use silence to your advantage. The fifth law is to so much depends on reputation, guard it with your life. This law suggests that your reputation is everything and should be protected at all costs. Make sure that you are always seen in a positive light and avoid doing anything that could damage your reputation. The sixth law is to court attention at all costs. This law suggests that you should always be in the spotlight and make sure that people are aware of your achievements. This will ensure that you are always seen as an important and influential person. The seventh law is to get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. This law suggests that you should delegate tasks to others and take credit for their work. This will ensure that you are seen as a leader and receive recognition for your achievements. The eighth law is to make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. This law suggests that you should make people come to you by using incentives or bait. This will ensure that you are seen as an important and influential person. The ninth law is to win through your actions, never through argument. This law suggests that you should avoid arguments and instead focus on taking action. This will ensure that you are seen as a decisive and effective leader. The 10th law is to infection. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. This law suggests that you should avoid negative people and those who are unlucky. Instead, surround yourself with positive and successful people who will inspire and motivate you. The 11th law is to learn to keep people dependent on you. This law suggests that you should make people dependent on you by providing them with something that they need. This will ensure that you are seen as an important and influential person. The 12th law is to use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. This law suggests that you should use honesty and generosity to gain the trust of your victim. Once you have gained their trust, you can use it to your advantage. The 13th law is to, when asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. This law suggests that you should appeal to people's self-interest when asking for help. This will ensure that they are more likely to help you because it benefits them. The 14th law is to pose as a friend, work as a spy. This law suggests that you should act friendly towards your opponents and gather information about them. This will ensure that you have an advantage over them. The 15th law is to crush your enemy totally. This law suggests that you should never leave your enemy with the ability to retaliate. Always make sure that you have crushed them completely. The 16th law is to use absence to increase respect and honor. This law suggests that you should make yourself scarce to increase your value. This will ensure that you are seen as an important and influential person. The 17th law is to keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. This law suggests that you should keep others guessing by being unpredictable. This will ensure that you are seen as a powerful and intimidating person. The 18th law is to do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. This law suggests that you should avoid isolating yourself and instead build alliances with others. This will ensure that you have a support system in place. The 19th law is to know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. This law suggests that you should be careful who you offend and avoid offending those who are more powerful than you. This will ensure that you do not get into trouble. The 20th law is to do not commit to anyone. This law suggests that you should avoid committing to anyone and instead keep your options open. This will ensure that you have more opportunities for advancement. The 21st law is to play a sucker to catch a sucker ray seem dumber than your mark. This law suggests that you should appear less intelligent than your opponent to gain an advantage over them. The 22nd law is to use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. This law suggests that you should use your weaknesses to your advantage by surrendering them. This will ensure that your opponent sees you as less of a threat. The 23rd law is to concentrate your forces. This law suggests that you should focus your energy on a single goal to achieve success. This will ensure that you are more effective and efficient. The 24th law is to play the perfect courtier. This law suggests that you should always be polite, charming, and respectful to those in power. This will ensure that you are seen as a valuable asset. The 25th law is to recreate yourself. This law suggests that you should constantly reinvent yourself to stay relevant and adapt to changes. This will ensure that you remain successful and influential. The 26th law is to keep your hands clean. This law suggests that you should avoid getting involved in dirty business and instead maintain a clean reputation. This will ensure that you are seen as an ethical and trustworthy person. The 27th law is to play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. This law suggests that you should create a cult-like following by using people's need to believe in something. This will ensure that you have a loyal and devoted following. The 28th law is to enter action with boldness. This law suggests that you should be confident and bold in your actions to show that you are in control. This will ensure that you are seen as a powerful and influential person. The 29th law is to plan all the way to the end. This law suggests that you should plan for every possible outcome to ensure that you are prepared for any situation. The 30th law is to make your accomplishments seem effortless. This law suggests that you should make your accomplishments seem easy to achieve to maintain an air of superiority. The 31st law is to control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. This law suggests that you should control the options available to others to maintain control. The 32nd law is to play to people's fantasies. This law suggests that you should appeal to people's fantasies to gain their support. The 33rd law is to discover each man's thumbscrew. This law suggests that you should discover what motivates people and use it to your advantage. The 34th law is to be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. This law suggests that you should act like a king to be treated like one. The 35th law is to master the art of timing. This law suggests that you should be aware of the right time to act to achieve success. The 36th law is to disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. This law suggests that you should ignore the things you cannot have to maintain your focus and avoid distractions. The 37th law is to create compelling spectacles. This law suggests that you should create spectacles to gain attention and impress others. The 38th law is to think as you like but behave like others. This law suggests that you should behave like others to avoid standing out and drawing unwanted attention. The 39th law is to stir up waters to catch fish. This law suggests that you should create chaos to gain an advantage over others. The 40th law is to despise the free lunch. This law suggests that you should be wary of anything that is offered for free and avoid becoming dependent on others. The 41st law is to avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. This law suggests that you should avoid replacing someone who is highly respected and successful to avoid being compared to them. The 42nd law is to strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. This law suggests that you should target the leader to disrupt the group and gain an advantage. The 43rd law is to work on the hearts and minds of others. This law suggests that you should work on the emotions of others to gain their support. The 44th law is to disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. This law suggests that you should mirror someone's behavior to disarm them and gain an advantage. The 45th law is to preach the need for change. but never reform too much at once. This law suggests that you should advocate for change but avoid making too many changes at once to avoid resistance. The 46th law is to never appear too perfect. This law suggests that you should avoid appearing perfect to avoid intimidating others. The 47th law is to do not go past the mark you aimed for in victory. Learn when to stop. This law suggests that you should know when to stop and avoid overreaching to maintain your advantage. The 48th law is to assume no form. This law suggests that in order to keep yourself adaptable and stay hidden to your enemies, you must not take shape or make your plans visible. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is a great read, and these laws can be adapted to any aspect of life.